Hello racing fans watching around the world. I'm back. It's the return of your favourite, or in some cases least favourite, Zwift Racing YouTuber, Jake Sanderson aka Snowman Cycling. And for our race recap video this week, seeing as it is the return of ZRL in only a few short days away, I have delved deep into my bag of tricks to find a ZRL retro race that can only be described as a pure puke fest. And for this one, we're going to be tackling a formidable 40-kilometre foray into Flatland Loop in Makuri Islands, where we've got 2 sprints per lap and we've got not 1, not 2, unfortunately 3 full laps for me to suffer through. So let's jump straight into this one. And for those of you that are new to Zwift Racing League and haven't done it before, don't understand the format, as well as getting points for your finishing position at the end of the race, there's also a series of segment points on offer, including fastest through the segment and first across the line points. So that is super important. It means that every single time we hit one of these segments, like we are right now, we're going to have to try and pick up as many points as we can for the team. And as we can see there, I did manage to pick up 6th in the fastest through the segment points, so that's really good. There's less foul points on offer. The fastest through the segment is the leaderboard for all 3 laps, so you need to get a really good time on that. And that usually comes on the first lap when the group is at its biggest. But you'll note that it's really difficult to get to the front of the group to pick up those foul points when the group's so big. So what I tried to do is ask some of my teammates who aren't likely to be there at the end to go all out and pick up some foul points on those first couple of segments, whilst I sit further back in the group, get the draft and go for the fastest through the segment. And then on the later laps when the group is reduced, I will also be making a play for more foul points. So it's not just going to be about sitting in and saving energy for the end, which gives these races a really interesting dynamic. And really it means you are at the mercy of the course, like we are here, where I'm just trying to go as hard as I can with the pack on those segment efforts and then recover between them. But as you'll see here, as we hit this next sprint, it's just not that straightforward. It's not that simple. My heart rate is already at 183. It's 189 max, which I've only hit a few times in my life, and it just keeps creeping upwards because of the pace of this group. Nobody is letting up. Everybody's going for foul and fastest through the segment point. So as we hit the start of the sprint, I'm already at 186. Not much room to breathe, so I'm really suffering. I do manage to pick up 4th fastest through the segment, but at what cost? As we look there, I hit 189 for a few seconds, my max heart rate. So I know when I see that I'm absolutely on the limit. And there's a couple of reasons that I'm suffering more than usual in this one. Firstly, and you cannot underestimate how much of an impact this actually makes, but I was late from work and I really didn't have the time to do any warm-up whatsoever for this race. And I was a little bit gobsmacked by how much of a difference that actually makes, especially when you launch into these high-intensity efforts off the bat. And you can see that the heat's already got to me as I've started stripping off. No, don't worry, you've not accidentally clicked onto my OnlyFans. But more importantly, and what definitely made more of an impact, was that less than a minute and a half from the start of this race, the batteries in my power meter died, leaving me stranded in the pen, trying feverishly to get my Allen key out, find my spare batteries and get it all changed over in 90 seconds. After about 45 seconds, I realised that wasn't going to be possible, and unfortunately I was going to have to go to my backup power source, which was my turbo trainer. The problem with that was that I already knew that that turbo trainer was under reading by about 10 watts over 20 minutes compared to my other power source and my other trainer. And whilst it might not sound like a lot, when you're only 60 kilos, 10 watts can be quite a big difference. But unfortunately for me, there's nothing I can do about that right now other than grit my teeth and just go as hard as I possibly can, as we're about to do on this sprint. Everybody comes past me, I let the group come past me and I try to get as much draft as I can, deploy my drafting boost, and then as we hit the start of the sprint, we go alley, 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 go, go, go. Everybody hit those watts as hard as you can and see, can we pick up any more points as we cross the line? We do manage to pick up a few points on the foul, but not loads, and we didn't pick up that many points on the fastest through the segment either. So not exactly a roaring success, that one, but you cannot win every sprint. And this one has got the added benefit of having a look at the end at how I managed to mess this finish up, what I did wrong, what I should do differently in the future, and how you can avoid doing the same mistakes in your race next week. So as you'll see, I do my best wheel-sucking impersonation, and I am at the back of this mini peloton for pretty much the whole race. I am really suffering. As you'll see from my heart rate, which pretty much sticks in the 170 to 188 range the whole race. As that well-known cycling saying goes, sometimes you're the hammer and sometimes you're the nail. And this week I was definitely the nail. But it's really important to show you guys not just the race wins and the highlights, but when things don't go exactly according to plan, because you cannot win every race, you cannot perform exactly as you want to every single time you get on the bike. But what we can try and do is learn from our mistakes and maximize the things we're doing well to make sure that when we do get ourselves in a position to win, we have the best chance possible. And as we'll see from the finish of this one, sometimes one or two small mistakes can be the difference between winning or not. And as we come back around to this sprint once again, you'll note that I am on the front of the group very, very early, but that is not what I would call a mistake. That is a change in tactic. Now we've done the first lap, my focus has switched more to the foul points, the first across the line, then the fastest through the segment. With this reduced group here, it's going to be very difficult to pick up many fastest through the segments on the later laps. So we're going to transition that energy into using it more to get to the front of the group in advance of the sprints and keep our position as we go through the banner. Sometimes you've got to evolve on the fly in these races and adapt to the situations that are going on around you. That's what the best racers are able to do. And as you've heard from me more than one time on this channel, I always like to have a cunning plan.
I've got a plan so cunning you could put a tail on it and call it a weasel.
And that plan is definitely going to help me save some energy later on. But is it going to be enough to help us climb to the top step? Well, we'll have to wait and see. And before we hit the next sprint, I just want to give you a quick update on what I've got planned for this channel in the next few weeks. With the return of ZRL, I won't be racing this season, but I will be DSing my Don't Eat the Yellow Snow team. And if that's something you guys would like to see as a video, how you DS teams in Zwift Racing League, how I organise teams and how I plan the tactics, then let me know in the comments below and I'll see if we can make that a reality and do a couple of ZRL DS series videos for you over the course of the next 6 weeks. But before we get there, we've got to get through the next few sprints first, including this one. So I deploy my Aero Boost power up a little bit too early there, but again, I just wanted to make sure I was getting to the front of the group, using that energy to be in the front 10 riders. And that new tactic picks up some results again as we manage to get 6th first across the line points, which leaves us with just one more sprint to worry about, thank God. But I suppose we better throw in the finish as well to make it a magnificent 7. And as I am clinging on to the back of this peloton, I just want to say a massive thank you to old and recent subscribers and viewers of the channel. We recently hit my target of 1,000 subs that I've been going on and on about for a long time. So to say thank you to all you amazing viewers, I want to do something special. I'm not quite 100% sure on what that is yet. Let me know some ideas in the comments down below. I did have one idea, which is to do a race blindfolded with a couple of people DSing me and almost certainly hanging me out to dry. What do you think? Let me know down below. And also on the back of the success of last week's video, I did a vote on the community page of my channel asking you guys if I should introduce a new video feature every week or few weeks where I analyse a subscriber's race video footage so we can have a look at a range of different categories, abilities and rider types, so that will help you guys improve your racing. And the first one of those is going to be coming to you next week. But before we do that, we've still got one more sprint and the finish left to look at. So let's do that. I'm buoyed by the fact that this is the final sprint. I know I only have to do this one more time. So let's go. Let's push ourselves to the front of this group. And we grit our teeth. We managed to come across the line and pick up 2nd this time in the foul points. So that's really, really useful and an improvement from the last lap. But is that going to come back to bite me in 2 kilometers time when we're at the race finish? And it's all downhill from here. So it really doesn't suit me as a lightweight rider. And also, it's going to come up on us super fast. Before you know it, we're going to be at that sprint finish. There's almost no time to recover. We maybe get a minute or so to bring that heart rate down and think about how we're going to approach this end game. You know the drill on snowman cycling. We always like to have a plan in place, but this is just so chaotic and crazy that we're going to have to react to what's going on around us. Because it's downhill, I don't want to go too early. I also don't want to go too late because you won't be able to move up. It doesn't really help me either that I've got the feather power up, probably the worst power up to have on this descent bunch finish. Would have much preferred the Aero Boost or the Van Draft. But as we can see here, the main mistake that I make is getting preoccupied with the guy off the front and thinking that that is the race winning move going away from me. So I elect to deploy my power up a little bit early on this minus 12% as we're still 400 meters from the finish. Try and use this rise, hit 850 watts as we come powering to the front of the group with everything we've got. I can feel it. The win is almost there. I can touch it. The podium at the very least as we come to the front of the group, gaining on the rider at the front. But we just run out of road. He's got too much power and the riders behind me draft me and out kick me on the line. I just did not have the legs to do any more than that, especially going that early on the downhill finish. But timing is everything, and I really messed that one up. And really, if I was going for the win, I should not have gone as hard as I did for that sprint 2 kilometers from the finish. But that's not what Zwift Racing League is about. It's not about going for the individual win. It's about picking up as many points as you can to contribute towards the team total. And I definitely did that today. I'm also extremely disappointed not to get onto the podium. You cannot win them all, and most definitely this week.
What? This is unheard of! No winners this time on Takeshi's Castle!
And as we have a very quick look at the power on this one, we can see that the average power is 3.5 watts per kilo, but the normalized power was 4.05 watts per kilo for 55 minutes. Tells the true story of how those sprint efforts really bump up the energy that you have to use, even if the average power doesn't tell the whole story. So at least I know now why that one felt so hard. So there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed that one. A dive back into a retro race for ZRL. Good luck to those of you racing this season in ZRL. A huge thank you to all my Patron subscribers. I really appreciate your support. Remember to like, comment, most importantly subscribe. And as always, guys, race fast, ride hard, and remember that you are appreciated.